Hello all. Good morning. Welcome to the fifth episode of Sunday Samvad, the Alumni Connect vertical of MyTIS. Today, in this fifth episode, we are glad and honored to have Mr. Mayur Helia, a TISS Mumbai pass out from the year 2017, who specialized in the School of Social Work at the Center for Dalit and Tribal Studies in Action. We are pleased to have Mr. Mayur with us, and Mr. Mayur has worked extensively on various research projects and with Ivy League universities and professors, also as a research associate at JPAL, and recently he has founded his own consultancy called the Dialectic Research Consultancy. His interest areas lies in public policy, in the intersectionalities of caste, and the interlinkages of marginal communities and public policy. His research projects include caste and cricket, water and sanitation and the public policy implications, and various other micro and macro level researches. He also specializes in research skills of randomized control trial, and we would be discussing about that too in some brief. Also, how the Indian research area or Indian research field is going to look in the future, how developed or the first world countries or the West is looking at India and the prospects in research, and also what skills and challenges are expected from a researcher or are expected that a researcher would face, and thus the guidance for TISS students.
Things work with India and with so much diversity. There has been a lot of criticism about how the RCTs will work, but yet many professors in from US and from across are interested in India and in many developing nations. See, when I say developing nations, uh, you know, the developed nation really don't want more research to be done in their country, because firstly it is expensive, and secondly developing nations are just easy to go there, do research, there is no one much to question. So I think they just invest more. So most of the developed, so-called developed countries just invest a lot when it comes to researches in developing nations. So 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 I think that is about how the RCT works. And one of the professors introduced me to this field, where I was like, let's try. I just gave it as a go. Let's see where it takes us. And interestingly, it has been a really interesting journey, because I never thought of being a researcher. I actually never knew. So the ultimate thing was, I was interested in research, but it was once you do your PhD, then alongside you teach, you have to do research. I think that's what the entire notion was in my mind. So I think that's how it started. And then finally, when I started working, it has been almost 2.5 years with the public policy project. And then I started working with um, digit the project on social media with JPAL uh, in Bihar. So I think that is how it has been about the research structure. So when we talk of the international trends of research, uh, what happens, that countries are investing a lot in research, but when it comes to India, we are really investing very less on any researches. you know we are just not investing in research to understand the social structure itself, or when it comes to research in the technology too. I think we are just not investing that much. If you remember, or if any one of you is interested in understanding how research is have gone far. Like, what is the limit? There is a great documentary on Netflix called The Great Hack, which is entirely about how the US election was rigged, and how the social media and the data from Facebook played an important role in the victory of Trump. So I think that is really very interesting. And one major thing when it comes to the blooming of the research field, that the data price, the data price has taken over the oil price. So I think data has become really very important in current time. No, you use any app, you just use any social media app, anything, they are collecting data on everyday basis with or without consent. When you say yes, they just mark that yes, you are on their side, and they just collect data and they just share with the companies, with whoever they want, without any filter. And especially in countries like India, it is really very easier to go with the data thing, because we don't actually care much about the breaching. I think TikTok was doing it for long, and finally it is banned now. But people are taking away our data for almost free when it comes to the social media. So I think that is one of the important aspects. And whoever is really interested on researches and how far they have gone, I think they should definitely watch this documentary on Netflix, which is really very interesting. So when it comes to the role of a researcher, when it comes to the role of a researcher, it's a whole lot of responsibility. So so when we talk of the research structure, there is a primary investigator, which is a PI. Then you have a supervisor. So primary investigator mostly are from US, from UK, from Canada. I think they are the professors of premium universities. They are the primary investigators. And when it comes to India, there is, so organizations like JPAL, there is um, there is a system where there is one supervisor, and then there is an RA, which is a research associate. And then you have a team which is under an RA, which goes like this. There is an RA, then there is a project associate, then there is an project supervisor, then there is project supervisor, then there is monitor, then at the end there is a enumerator. So that's how the entire structure is. So the responsibility of a research associate is not only with the field, but also more with the data. When you say, you the researcher has to have a two ways approach, where he has to work extensively in the field, and should also know a lot about how to work on data, how to work on questionnaire, how to work on the methodology. Though most of the part will be taken up by the PIs, but the major inputs has to be by the RA. Why? Because the RA has been in India and has the knowledge of the field. So I think that input really make a great difference when it comes to the quality of the research, and what kind of research it is. So I think the RA's role is to handle the entire team, and to see that the surveys go smoothly. Also to understand that the questions are asked, like the smallest thing, that there are really very difficult questions, but but thus the questions asked are in a way that they are. So the professors might ask something, and when it gets translated, and when the enumerators ask, they just end up something else. So I think from the data analysis part, to managing the team, and looking that each person is asking the correct question and getting the correct data, I think that just sums up the entire responsibility of an RA. So that is about the RA's responsibility. And when we talk of the India, when you talk of India, and how the research sector has been growing, you know, So in last few years, research has been always there in India. It has been going on by the government, by institutes like TIS, IITs. But in past few years, the professors and the entire universities have been looking up to India as a really good research area. There are many reasons for that. Like everyone knows that in by 2030, most of the cities in India will not have water. So there are too many aspects where you can do research. And see, when it comes not just to my school or social work, or you can say livelihood, the research is cross across. Like I have seen, if I can give you a few examples of researches which I have encountered. So one of the friend was one of the professors whom I was working with had done a research in his PhD, which was caste and cricket. I think it was, the location was UP. So it was a randomized control trial where he looked with he organized a tournament of cricket, and his major focus was to understand caste. The way the way it was done was like, there are many small experiments involved. So initially he just calls people for a tournament and keeps a big cash prize, and then when the people come, then he'll say, we'll divide you with different teams, and then he'll say, democratically you select. So there'll be two people from, let's say, or whichever castes are there from the region, and then they'll say that each team should decide who will be the captain, who will bat first, and who will ball first. So I think that is the way of understanding. There is one more research which is going on in Madhya Pradesh on understanding how police themselves look at their co-workers who are female at the workplace. So one of the major criticism with RCT is that you don't tell the respondent about what you are doing. So I think that is one of the major criticism, that how can someone not say what they are actually doing. But so I think that is one of the very controversial thing about the RCT. But people are doing it, and it has been um, yeah, sorry for interrupting. Someone has asked to write the name of the documentary. I'll just write it down. Yeah,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
yeah, sorry. So I just, whenever it comes, I'll just
You're talking about criticism of, it's okay, sir. Questions we can manage. You're talking about criticism of RCT, but
yeah,
then
yeah,
to
yeah. So see, there are a lot of criticism. I remember in TIS itself there was post the Nobel Prize on Economics was won, and it was majorly won due to RCTs. I think there was a lecture next day or a day after that in TIS against how RCTs are not really interesting. But see, what I understand with the personal experience is that the research field is changing drastically. And if we and yes, when it comes to public policy, I myself have my doubt when it comes to RCT, that with so much diversity in India, it really can't work, I feel, in the way western world sees it. It really can't work the way it is. But when it comes to issues like caste, issues like gender, issues like politics, I think RCTs can be like finding facts, though there is always the point where people says, what about the research ethics? See, I think ethics are different when it comes to what we actually learn in test, and when you actually go in the field. And so I think that is one of the major things where most professors are not going, are not focusing on. And the major criticism about RCTs are this. But I really feel that the field, when it comes to India, it is blooming in terms of RCT, because a lot of in I feel in last year, I guess more than 1,000 RCTs which I have been, colleagues around have been doing just in that 1 year. And just, it's not the data, it's just from my contacts who I know are doing RCTs, like many projects from JPAL, many projects independently. So I think they there is a lot of work going on across India when it comes to randomized control trial. So it's a really very interesting field. Yeah, I think that is about how the trends go. And it has also given boost to many small companies. That is one of the reason I have started my own company. Because see, when it comes to the major giants, like the major giants organizations, the costs are really very high. So I think it has given opportunities, work to many people from India, uh, especially from Bihar, UP. So I know many small companies who do surveys for these US universities, who are Lucknow based, who are Bihar based. I myself have worked in Bihar on one of the projects of WhatsApp. I can't really talk more about it because it's just going on. So yeah, I think. But there are many examples of randomized control trial. There was one one was on caste, one was on gender. So the major point is that it has everything for all school. When it will come ki, how do I associate with the research? Hello, is there any? Yeah. So how do someone associate with the research? It is that it has everything to offer to everyone. But initially, like, what I would suggest, that initially one should just take the opportunities. Like, see, I was really not interested in working on RCT in public policy, to be honest. I had my doubts, but the major thing was that to go ahead and try. Once I understood, now when I choose my projects, I choose it really of my interest area. But to understand the field, once I just went, and then now, so the current project which I was supposed to work, and it is on hold due to pandemic, is dowry and migrants labor, especially in the major three cities like Delhi, Mumbai, and Bangalore. So I think it's on labor work, labor and dowry. So I think that is one of the major thing. Let me just check where we are on the schedule, or on the structure. Sorry, international trend. How the so when we talk of what research skills you need, I think one of the many important thing is the communication skills. Like, the way you see what will happen when there is an independent research, a lot of politicians from a lot of party will try to make what will try to stop you, or try to do whatever they want. So I think one of the major thing is the way you communicate with your team. Second is about the leadership, that how do you lead the team, where you can get the best data which is required for the say for the research. So I think one is communication, second is leadership, third is the management skill. See, management will be really very important when it comes to the research, because managing the team and managing where you have to work on field, and where and when you have to work on the data. I think that will be really very important. And also it will require a lot of rigorous effort. I'll say that it is really very tiring at times. Sometimes when the surveys start at 7, it just goes on till 8 9. because it's a good day, you get surveys. So so there are three phases when it comes to the surveys: baseline, end line, baseline, midline, end line, and in the middle of that there is an intervention phase. So so the company or the NGO do the intervention, then you do the surveys, and then you see how the data has changed. So so the most work will be, you will have for a month 16 hours a day work, because you are in the baseline. Once baseline is done, then the major work is like you can just sit back, relax, work on data for like 4 5 hours 6 hours a day. And I think that is one of the things. Also this helps you when it comes to such things. This really makes you more of an, you know, independent individual. So I always thought that, you know, a team would be really very good, or working in an organization, working in a CSR will be really nice. But once I have started with the research, I really feel so that is one of the reasons that I really don't want to be with any organization. I did not continue my work with JPAL. So so when you are an independent, you can have your own time, you can have. So the major thing what any PI, like the primary investigator, the professors will need, is that the work should be on time and the work should be as they want. Apart from that, it is your time, and you can have whatever you do. If you, as an independent, even if you want to publish something, write something, there is no control. When it comes to the organizations, there are a lot of restrictions, there are a lot of things that you can do and don'ts. So I think as an independent, it is more of exploring the field. You can just choose your projects of short term, which you really like 6 months, 8 months or year, and don't have a lot of commitments. And then even if you can go for further studies and all. So I think that is one of the major thing about the research. And see what, when it comes to what do we actually learn, see, one more skill which is required is about the data. So what we actually learn in tests, SPSS and everything, is really not the updated thing. So I'll suggest anyone who is interested in research field, interested in going abroad, or studying or doing anything which is associated with the research, you should really go online and do courses on R. So R is a language which is where you can just take 50 or 100 Excel sheet and use it like any matlab, it's a coding thing where you put the code and you will just get the data. And it is really very smooth. Once you understand, initially learning is difficult, but a person who knows R just for data cleaning can get a good chunk of money. So I think that is one of the important thing. And also when you go abroad or want to work anyone with abroad, I think R will give you an upper hand when it comes to the workplace. So now when you have time or time home, I think you should use it wisely. Do some courses on R. I don't know if there are any free courses or not. I'm not really very aware. But yeah, I think that is one of the major learning when it comes to research. You will be really updated with everything. Like there is an app called CTO survey. So everything is digital. I'll just put my questionnaire in it, and I'll just send it to the person's phone, and the person has to just click the close-ended question, yes or no, this or that. I think that is how you will be updated with the technology, with the data cleaning, with how everything how everything in and around researchers work. Or and it will also help you to apply abroad and uh, get more opportunities. You'll have better contacts around. So I think that is really very important, that you have some of the skills which are really required when it comes to the when it comes to studying abroad or working here. Yeah, I think that is it. Wait, let me see if I have missed something. Otherwise, yeah. So yeah, I think one thing which is there, that when it comes to the different specializations in tests, we are really very focused that post specialization we'll just go with the same thing. Suppose if you are in Dalit and tribal studies, we'll just work. But I think we never understand when we are in test the intersectionality when it comes to the work. When we come out of test, there is almost everywhere the intersectionality. Like the person who's working with children will also have the understanding of caste dynamics and gender dynamics, so there is all organizations who work for the for the society has somewhere or the other intersectionality. So one thing which what I would suggest is, when it comes to work, just really don't stick to something which you are really very comfortable and you think this is. I think if you be a bit you know uh, flexible, and you want to explore some places, take take the opportunities in the initial one and first and second years when you pass out from tests. So I think, yeah, I think I have covered it all. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes. Actually, you have almost
Yeah.
covered of all, and it was a very intriguing and what you can say, as we aim for be having a purposive as well as experiential sharing of talk or thoughts, because as you said about various, starting from how moving beyond CGPC and looking for your individual interests, in the sense that you apply on your own, not depend only on the formal mechanisms of the institute. The second, also, you talked about how the India research sector and the Western world or the global North views India as a hub of research, but at the same time also is uh, rigid in how applying their models, uh, not only RCT, but also how you said the PI, the principal investigator and the research associate, have kind of differences in their approach sometimes. So you need to deal with that. And consequently, you talked about the skills that are required, in the sense of, you said about team management, communication skills. In the sense I understand about from communication is the way an academician should articulate their thoughts and their ideas in a very formal and a very research valid perspective, not only just a normal assignment, or let us say a normal layman's communication, but rather a very research oriented, academic oriented communication skills, I guess. When
Mm-hmm.
you, even in that, I guess in that communication skills, I guess it is not only about saying, but also about writing, even writing emails, to writing proposals, to designing the project baseline, as you pointed out, various surveys. Also about how RCT has been a debate all around in the social sciences sector or in the research sector, and how even Abhijit Banerjee and all in the last Nobel Prize, Arshad Aflo, also were applied RCT, and still the government of national governments are checking how if RCT can be applied or not. But you rightly pointed out, it depends on the areas you are working for. So like if you are working, as you said, about in politics, gender or caste, at that time RCT is very much helpful, because it takes a huge sample size, and India being a population of a billion more people. But at the same time, when we are talking about public policy, we need to see, as you said, about how it is not so much useful in the sense of public policy. So and the skills of our the skills of team management and the managerial skills. are also thing. I guess you mentioned, and the learning absolutely, as you said about how what learnings as a researcher we can take, and how can we progress our career when we see aligning with an organization or working as an independent researcher. So that depends from person to person and their interest areas. I think we have had an interesting session. So there are some questions that are there, which there are few questions from our registration forms. So I think I'll ask that, and then we can move on to the other questions on our chat box, and then those who want to ask directly. So the one thing that I also you mentioned about higher studies, it is not only about working as a researcher in an organization or with some professors, but also when you are someone who is aspiring for working for PhD or doing a PhD, and also if it's abroad PhD, you know. So the question says asks about the availability of scholarships for international PhD students. So do you have any like you can give insights regarding any scholarship students can approach if they want to do PhD in abroad?
See, one thing when it comes to the scholarship, what I'll when you ask me, I think it is better to go with a GRE to countries like US. Even if you get into the smallest universities, everything will be taken care of. You know, so more than 90% of universities where you will be doing PhDs in sorry where you will do PhD in US, it will take care from your research to your stay and everything. It will also give you work in sense of as a research, um, not sorry, not as a research, as a assistant professors ad hoc. So I think that is one of the thing. Otherwise, there are a lot of scholarships available in Germany, in Sweden. One of the livelihood senior from me. I think I can, if anyone is interested in studying abroad, especially in Germany, I can put them in contact with him. He has really good understanding on how the real how this scholarship in Germany work. I have more understanding about the US, so because I've been focusing on it. But in Sweden, Germany, UK, there are a lot of scholarships. When you do GRE or even without GRE, you will get your research covered with the stipend, and you'll also get work in the sense of assistant professors in the university too. So I think, yeah, that is it. Hello.
Yeah. So yeah, so as about various accounts. So it depends. I think it depends on. Am I audible, right?
Yeah, you're audible. Just the
I think
video
it
is.
depends on the countries you are also looking at, and even the colleges also you're looking at.
Yeah, I think,
But
see,
yeah,
there are different kinds of fellowship. You can't just say everything. But I think if you ask me, I will suggest more of going with GRE and then going to US and the universities which take care of everything. I think that's how the PhD should be. Like going applying for PhD, getting in PhD, and then applying for scholarship fellowships for the PhD. I think that is not how I see PhD should be done. So yeah, I think that is one thing. That is, yeah, I don't know.
yeah. So yeah, thanks for that insight. And the other thing, I think there is very pertinent and a very all across question students have is that what is the right approach if if to do PhD? Okay, if should we do PhD direct after masters, or should we let us say do PhD after taking some work experience through in a professor or an organization, and then opt for a PhD in an institution? What do you think?
See, I feel rather it be India, rather it be any place in the world. People always prefer people who have the degree plus the work ex. Though it's a small work experience, but still it is really necessary when it comes to understanding the field. Because see, when we talk of TIS keeps you in that comfort zone, where you really don't understand the world how it is. So that will really start when you just go and work for year or two. I think what what I will suggest, that at least work for 1 and 2 hours with grassroots organizations or research which are really gone on the grassroots, uh, done done on the grassroots. I think that will really help you to explore your understanding, make a better research proposal, and apply for PhD, rather it be India, rather it be US. So one of my friend, let me just give you this one example how this works. One of my friend, few years just passing out after from test, he applied in IIT for MPhil, and she didn't get it because many things, many theories, many aspects of work thing were missing. And I think this year she has got in PhD directly. So I think that is how it just affects how how the entire thing works. You get more understanding, you learn more, you share more experience, and I think it is easier for one to get with the experience to any universities. And especially when it comes to abroad, they especially want people who have work ex too. That's why if anyone wants to study abroad and all, please for few months or something, look for the opportunities in JPAL, because it's a really recognized organization. When you go to any US universities and all, and when you have something like JPAL and all, I think they'll understand that there are a lot of things which you have gone through. So it is like we know that how TIS has affected our education system.
I think we lost Mayur, or is it just not visible to me? Can anyone reply, please?
Yeah,
Akanksha?
we all lost him, I think.
Yeah, just a second. I think some internet issues. I'll contact him. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you're
Sorry,
back.
sorry.
Yeah.
Just I don't know what happened, but I just came out. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were talking about the work experience and how US prefer them.
It just matters even in US, even in India, when you have work experience, professors and everyone, and you yourself will know things in a better way. Because when it comes to test, it is more of the theory thing and less of the practical. Though we have the first years we go for 2 days in field, and second year we have one month, but I think that's not enough. So yeah.
Yeah. So that work preference is preferred, not and India has been a new or a naive player or a new player in this sense of accepting masters or PhD through work experience. But in the Western world, we see that the minimum eligibility criteria is some 2 or 3 work experience in let us say MBA or even masters in public policy or in social sciences. When we see the Ivy League colleges or the University of Sussex or Stanford or Harvard. So yeah, that's a very great point. The one thing that is asked, I think, of research is actually relevant to, useful or relevant to society. I think you answered that the question says that what is the outcome from research? Can please give me 1 or 2 example of research that actually useful or relevant to society? I think you have answered how you have
See, I think
did us
I think
what's it? Yeah.
let me clear it once more. I think if person has posted a question, and yeah. So see, once when I say that there was a project about caste and cricket, there was a project on gender. Let me see how RCT actually works. And how actually it helps society and how I feel. So whatever researches we do in TIS, we just go collect data and come back. Right? That's it. We just, there is really very less intervention. So what happens with RCT? At least 50% of population will get intervention. for example, let me share the project which I am already working on, the water project. So we are working in Mumbai uh, on the water project where we are trying to provide people with legal water connections. So what happens when there is control and treatment, it is totally random. So half people are kept in control, where we'll see what are the effects, but at least 50% of the population really gets the benefit, and there we really do intervention. We have taken we have done Twitter campaign, SMS campaign. We have done from filling applications to BMC to everything, and many of them have got water too. So what my understanding, so one of the criticism against RCT is like, you you just like uh, think like water should be right of all, and I understand the same. But the point is, people have been working with the other methods for years and have not achieved what water for all in Mumbai. So I think, why not try RCT? And if you get, I think the others can demand. So that is what has been happening in Mumbai. Many slums which had many places like Bombay Port Trust land. There are more than uh, around 10,000 houses. If you take the entire scrap bandar to the uh, scrap bandar to Kaula bandar, there are 5 6 bandars at Bombay Port Trust land. Since independence, they didn't had legal water connections. With the projects, they actually got the legal water connections. So I think there is a lot of uh, things changing. And what I feel, that at least 50% of the people, though it will be random, will get something. It's not key we'll just go collect data and come back. Just we'll and most of the times, what I understand is, when we collect data and when we write a paper print, the person living in slums doesn't even know that someone has written about me, or what it has actually written. Do we really go back and tell them that this is what we have written about you, this is how it has been working? I think i, I just don't know. So yeah, I think that is it.
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously, about the impact of your research, or the researchers' impact on the society, uh, differs, I guess, from the project to project. Like when you said about Trump and the election that was rigged. Okay. Sometimes it is not about the impact on those WhatsApp users, or those who are rigging, or those who are infected by the rigging of elections, but or about framing the laws and policy. And on the other hand, sometimes, as you pointed out, about water policy or water access, it depends on the project, and then the people who have not got water since independence have got the water supply. So yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
so
a
sorry,
very
sorry, sorry for interrupting, but just one more point. When it comes to UK,
yeah.
any new policy, when it comes to UK, any new policy is there is an RCT done on it. Suppose they are bringing some new policy, they'll do an RCT on it to understand, does it really help the people, like which way it helps the people. So they'll keep this in control, this in treatment, and they'll use 2 3 different methods, and they'll see which policies really help the people. So I think this entire water projects is, we are trying to understand, does people's movement help get them water, or what ways people can get water. I think it is more of understanding, do people get water just easily by asking and doing nothing, or do they have to do rigorous movement, do they have to go ahead, fight for it, and ask for the right. So I think that is how it has been. And in UK, for most of the policies, they just have this thing where they do RCT and then they implement. What I have seen and what I've understand in India, we just implement something. It just, there is no proper study and done. So we are so when we implement, the implementation takes 1 to 2 years or even more. So since so after that, not just the population, the policy itself I feel is not really very connected to the people and giving everything to everyone. Where what the policy is intended today, when it comes to the implementation, it just doesn't do what it was supposed to do. It just, you can say it is just outdated. So yeah, yeah,
So yeah, very interesting and intriguing point you mentioned here about the difference of approach of the government as well as research organizations in India and the West. Uh, and I think here there is a scope of us, or as a student, or as a social sciences, or as people who are aspiring for researchers, to take in how the some Western models in that sense of RCT, as well as trial and tested trial and error methods, to see how community level work can be done, as well as at the same time public policy work can be done in India, when it
yeah,
is not that much encouraged by, let us say, government or research organization. As in India, we have that notion of just framing a policy with some 20 experts and then implementing it and then tweaking it as soon as it gives that we face setbacks while implementing.
yeah,
Whenever we
yeah,
yeah, so that tweaking and modifying approach is bit, I think, needs to be modified, and that is where our scope lies.
yeah,
One question that I personally have, then I'll move on to the questions on the chat box. Is that so? Mayur, you mentioned about RCT, you mentioned about professors you worked with, you mentioned about JPAL, you mentioned about governments working. This a very simple question that I want to ask is, I guess, how should I approach an organization if I'm a fresher and have not done except my dissertation? Or how, or what are the, even one question is in the chat group that says, uh, any organizations, you could name some of the university or organizations, as you mentioned JPAL. There students like us have a very less understanding of working with professors and working with organizations, or working individually with professors, or working in association with professors. So I think, how can we approach professors or organizations if we are a fresher?
yeah. So I think that is really interesting. So see, when it comes to JPAL, they have their own recruitment, and you can just fill the form. There is a process. You have to give an exam, then there's an interview. So I think that is all about JPAL. When it comes to the professors, you should really go, really write, start writing to professors. When it comes to how a fresher should approach, see, there are a lot of people. When you go to Ivy League universities, or I've been working with professors from California University. So you can approach these professors that, I've been looking for things and I'm interested. So firstly, to approach, you need to have a bit of understanding on RCT. So what I'll first suggest, that if you really want to look, when it comes to the freshers and go work with the work with professors, I think first you should read a bit about RCT and get how it actually works, and then you can start writing. I can give some universities or even the professor's name, which who have been extensively uh,
Yeah,
working on RCT.
that
Like,
would be great. Yeah, that
yeah.
would be
So
great.
so you can write that Sam Nunn School of International Affairs, California University, then Columbia University, both UK and Canada. I think these are the four universities I have worked, and most professors work in RCT. I think when you search, you can search any university by your own, and you will, when you go in their researches, you will understand what type of researches they have done. you know and when it comes to, uh, when you see that there is a scope of your interest, like say your interest is gender or your interest is politics, you can just write the professors, and they are they are really very nice. When you write them or something, they'll reply if it is really relevant. So I think you keep writing them, and see, when it comes to the research organizations, I'll only prefer that you go with the best, which I understand the is JPAL in India. But but apart from that, there are many NGOs which will take you as a research associate. Many CSRs will take you as a research associate, or or even TIS has a post of research associate, project manager. So I think as a freshers, if you have good understanding of research, of methodology, I think it should be just easy. I think that's not very difficult. I know many places mention that there should be this work experience, this their work experience. uh, the thing which I applied for the project, it also required work experience. They're like at least 3-4 years work experience. But see, once they know that you have the understanding, and once you come on the common ground that yes, the person has understanding and could be helpful in the research, I think the professors are really flexible in. It is not like the company thing where they have criteria where you have to have 60%, where you have to have things. If you have the knowledge, if you have the thing, I think it will just work for you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. So just one in that connection is, for a fresher who has limited theoretical ideas about research and whatever you know in dissertation and in the subjects we learn about quantitative qualitative methodologies, or even let us say SPSS or even R.
Yeah.
What do you think is a good approach currently in the context of India to work with a professor from a university, or try applying to an organization? Or it depends to person. What do you think is a good thing?
See, what it honestly depends to person. But if you ask me, see, if you get some good organizations where you become RA, if you get, see, it actually majorly depends on the project and on your interest area. Apart from person to person, I think, see, if the project in JPAL is something which I am not really very interested in, and they are providing me with the good salary and everything, but the point is I just don't relate. I can't continue. So what happens with JPAL, once you get in, if one project ends, so like I was working on a project on WhatsApp. So if one project, so that project ended, and then they'll just shift you to other project. So the other project I did not like. I was like, and so I just said ki no, I just don't want to do it. So I think it depends more to project. If you are really interested with working with professors, I think that is really nice. But one thing you should keep in mind, when you go out, you should just keep your when it comes to the pay, you just keep your pay above what you understand, because see what happens, uh, especially when you are an independent, you really don't know how the things work. You will understand that in JPAL the RA's salary is a chunk, and and when you do it independently, professors will try to have two RAs in the cost of one. So I think that is just yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. Thank you. So thank you for that thing. I guess it is a very valid point taken that it depends on the project area, and if you are not able, if it's an organization professor, it doesn't matter if it's the work area is not your interest.
Yeah.
So there are some questions on the chat box, but before that, I would like to take interesting question which was on the Google form, that um, and I would link it to your current endeavor of founding a consultancy for research. Okay, so the person asked that what is the career progression, or what is the scope of our career if we work for 10 to 15 years in this research? Okay, and parallelly, I would pitch in this thing that what was the mindset. You already said about being independent and working on your autonomy, but also what is the scope as a career as a researcher in 10 to 15 years, and when you are now founding an organization or a consultancy firm? How does this idea come about founding a organization, and what students can expect in the next 10 to 15 years if they work as a researcher?
So I think, see, many people who are who are my colleagues and who are even working now, they have done their post graduation, or they have done PhDs in the universities, but they really don't like to teach the way India goes. So they end up being a researcher in organizations like JPAL. So the teaching, when it comes to teaching in India, it's really very different from US, and there are a lot of things which people don't agree. So there are colleagues who have done PhD from abroad and come back and started working in JPAL just to have good research experience. So like my plan will be also be something similar. If I come back, so my major plan is to study, and if I come back, it will be more of a research thing, because see, teaching in India has, I don't know, there is a lot of flaws. So yeah, I won't talk much about it, but in next 10 years, I think India will be blooming in terms of research. And when I talk about my company and how I got the idea, so see, when it comes to the JPAL, so we are currently working now on one project with Sam Nunn School of International Affairs. So when it comes to India, uh, what happens, there are not more research in institutes or more um, companies, and whichever companies are there are really giants, like they cost you a lot money. So my entire thing was that providing the professors the same thing with with what they actually need. So let's say, like, if you work with JPAL, you have to have an entire team. So the professors have to pay to supervisor, to RA, to PA, project associate, to monitor. So they have to pay to everyone, like, and that's a huge chunk of money. So what our understanding was, there are a lot of research firms already there. So our understanding was, what professors actually need is the guidance about how to go on the project in India, and the understanding of the area. And supervising the project. So we started a company where we provide the RA, like we are the brain behind the entire research which goes on. So I think we just wanted them. So see what happens, if the cost reduces, the professors can have more experiments. RCT is all about many small experiments and understanding how things work. So I think that is one of the things where you will understand, and where we thought that there is a scope of having our own company, where we'll provide a supervision, monitoring, by providing them RA. And the best thing is that we have a lot of contact with tests. With I have a lot of friends with JNU. So some projects comes on, let's say, gender or caste. I know the people who are in the city. Suppose right now we are working in Maharashtra, in Nagpur. I have a lot of people from TIS. In fact, we have hired a person who was from TIS, from my batch, and he is in Nagpur. So I think that is how it really came. That is how the idea came, and as TIS, we have a great network where we have people from the northeast to Gujarat, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. We have people everywhere. So we thought that we can provide them RA, or provide them whatever assistance they need in whichever area, especially when it comes to India. So yeah, I think that was
Yeah. Yeah. So I think about how you are going to create an ecosystem for the professors as well as organizations to have a more Indian centric uh, approach and Indian centric activities, or as you are providing RAs, so that the project moves more smoothly, and they have to worry about, and the organizations and the uh, professors have to worry less about the field work or the community engagement or the research designing.
So also
So
see
thank
me.
you.
Yeah, also me. One more thing is, when the money is coming from outside, see, where professors or anyone, when the money comes from abroad, anyone is really very curious that where the money is used. So I think the monitoring and supervision part, as from the RA's perspective, is is really very important, especially to the professors. They really want the money to be spent for the project itself, not anywhere. Because see what happens when it comes to implementation. When we work in collaboration with NGOs, they can use the money for small other projects too. So there is no proper thing where it will happen. So I think that will be one of the important aspect
Yeah,
about.
yeah. Yeah. So I think the question about how 10 to 15 years you can envisage your career as a researcher is very starkingly attaches to your answers, where you can say that it is sometimes after some years it is not only about doing research on the field, but connecting the prospects and resources and the money at the and using them optimally for whatever the research is meant for. Okay, and that is where social sciences students who have an experience of, let us say, 3 to 5 years of research can even align with or associate with or collaborate with organizations and professors to
Yeah,
have the
yeah.
most impact. Yeah, thank you. I think there are last two questions, and then because we are already shooting up the time, so I think one question here is about Shiny asks where that, and it is kind of connected to your answer about either professors or organizations. But one thing is that are organizations interested? The question is big, but I would cut it short. That are organizations interested in sociological studies, as the professors or academicians are, like as you said about caste and cricket. You talked about gender. So there are some type of research studies that are done by academicians or professors. But when we talk about organizations like JPAL or other organizations, Harvard's research arm or institution, do these organizations do sociological, cultural, anthropological studies, or
See,
are
I
they are
think
mostly
no,
what you can say project
they
based?
no, they do all studies. They even work with the government, like the Rajivika in Rajasthan is audited or is is done by JPAL. So they know that the JPAL standard is high. So JPAL works across, like in Bihar also they work with Jivika. There is similar livelihood program. So I think uh, the results with JPAL are really very interesting for governments too. So government also work in collaboration, and they actually hire them to do the audit of the entire work what they have actually done. So they have been doing in Rajasthan, in Bihar, and in many other states. So and when it comes to the independent research, I think organizations like JPAL and all, they mostly rely on the professors. So they'll have different kinds of professors, and professors will have their interest areas. Like it could be politics. So they'll have sociological, anthropological studies. It will come under JPAL, but the most of things will be supervised by the professors. Because see what happens, it will have two things. One is JPAL doesn't have to worry more about JPAL doesn't have to worry about the money and stuff, because professors have to apply for the money somewhere and get it. Why? Because they have to work on the credit. So I think it is a two-way thing where professors have to get the credit to become senior professors. You have to have some numbers, some number of researches. So I think JPAL or any other organizations, they actually don't do their research. Like they don't invest. They take professors and they do via things. So I think that is
Okay,
the
okay,
entire
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So I think
I,
at some point of time, yeah, you're saying something.
tell me. Yeah.
At some point of time, you're saying that in the end, the organizations and the professors are linked, because even in the organization also there are professors who work on research, and then there is a great scope of not only public policy or project based research, intervention based research, but also about explorative, anthropological, cultural, sociological research. Then
Yeah. Yeah.
there is scope. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so, so thank you, Mehul, for that. I think we don't have any more relevant questions to our discussions, but just two things I have. One is, can
one question was there. I think I don't know
yeah,
it has gone or what. Someone had asked that what more than R we should learn.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think see, I just write it down in the chat box. One is R. Then there is something called
Okay.
as Tata. है ना?
Yeah. Starter. Yeah.
As Tata, right? And one second, what is the there is one more stuff which I was um there is so yeah, I think this this three thing shall work. So the latex is like that.
Latex.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
think this three things should be more than enough. Even if you want to work with JPAL or you want to go abroad, I think this will be really helpful.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. Um, the last thing that I would ask, or last not ask actually, but do you, can we share your email ID to students
Yeah,
who want to connect
of
you?
course. I was
Yeah.
before ending, I was going to share only, but I thought
Yeah. Yeah.
let me take more questions and then I'll
Yeah.
share. But yeah,
Also, Mayur, if you if not, it's not necessary that you share now, but also if you can share a kind of list, or what you can say, list of professors, universities, or organizations who are actually into research, because we are still, or students still are not aware, except one or two like JPAL, or let us say other like Harvard's, or even in when we say about PRS legislative, but there are focused, you know. So I think
see,
if you can,
see, anyone interested can mail me, and I'll see. Suppose
okay,
person is interested in studying or something. If he really wants to go for the PhD and stuff, I think I can even help a bit there because I
okay,
myself I'm searching stuff. Or if you want to know who are the major professors, so suppose what it is. Suppose if you say who are the major professors working on doing RCTs on gender, so I think accordingly I can give few names
okay,
where
yes,
they can
yes,
write,
yes, yes,
because
true,
when
true,
I throw random university's name, random professor's name, what will happen that the person's interest area won't be there. So whoever is
true.
interested can write me that if you know someone, and see, if I know I'll share the name. If I don't know, I'll just tell that I don't know.
Great,
Because
great,
see,
absolutely, absolutely.
I have encountered people working. See, I have rigorously worked on politics and social media. I have worked on public policy. There are, I know a few professors who work on gender. So I think, yeah.
Okay,
And
okay, okay.
so people who are interested, their interest area, or they are studying in the school, I can just share a few professors or few
Yes, yes,
universities where
yes.
they can look from. So like, see, for health, in California University, there is something called as social health, where you talk of health of a community,
Okay.
not just
Yes.
yourself, like how the health of the community. So there is an entire school when it comes to the university. There's an entire um, you know MA in social this
Okay,
health.
okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it depends. You are absolutely right about it. Depends. You just throw, because it would make me more boring rather than interesting. And I think
No,
then member participants. Yeah,
because see, also what will happen that even professors will get random mail, and who are really very interested, they
true,
won't reply to any.
true,
Because see
true,
what
true.
happens, if the person is really interested, the person writes the way, I think the professors reply. But but we need to understand the patients and all, because see, sometimes when I'm working in the field and I write a mail, see, professors are teaching there. They don't have this one project. They have number of projects going on. So sometimes seven days there is no reply to my mail. you know two important issues too. Once my entire team was taken by the police for xyz reason. It was matlab, we came out, it wasn't a big deal, but the point was someone thought that we are doing something which is illegal, which wasn't legal. So I
I
think,
understand.
but yeah, I think that's the only thing.
Yeah. So I get that. I get that. So I think participants can, Mayur has already shared his mail ID and can connect according to their needs and aspirations. And I would like to conclude the session by a very warm gratitude towards Mayur, you as well as to all the participants who have been patient all along. I know it has been a kind of a monotonous or let us say by only two persons talking, but we need to maintain that decorum so that it gets in a very structured manner. But I thank all participants and of being patient as well as listening interestingly and posting their questions. And I hope that through Mayur's insights and experience and the journey, we have got various basic insights and fundamental insights to at least start thinking about research as a career. So our session was not aimed at making you a researcher, but our session was aimed at thinking, stimulating students to think of research as a career. Okay, and what dimensions to look on. And Mayur pointed out various dimensions: the scope of India, the skills required, the models that we can focus on, the approach that we can have, the challenges in the context of how challenges that we can face when we are managing team, or we are in lack of some skills, or how to build connections and networks. I again thank Mayur, and it was in a very short notice that we connected, but Mayur was always enthusiastic and very motivating, not just to MITIS but to all of us. And I hope to continue this connect and network with you, Mayur, and I hope you guide whomever approaches you so that we can create a more committed professionals for the development sector. And there is another thing that I want to tell, or what you can say, inform, that next week, Mayur, we are having kind of a batchmate of yours, Mr. Sudarshan Sarva, who is a Tata Steel CSR professional. And the next Sunday Samvad, the episode 6 is focused on CSR as a professional career. And we would be glad to welcome you, Mayur, and also all the participants. So thank you, friends, and thank you so much, Mayur.
Yeah.
We'll be connected, and just look onto our YouTube channel. We'll post the video in the recording in 2-3 days, as well as a summary of the session. And keep checking mytis.com. We do upload stories, we do upload blogs, and even you can upload your story or your blog on mytis.com.